How's it going, Pokemon trainers? I'm BK Vaz, and this is my second ever weekly recap. We had a pretty great event going on, as well as an interesting event coming up, so let's get right into it. Shiny Pokemon. This week I picked up a solid 9 shinies. Some of these were with my auto catcher, and some of them were caught manually. We had a good mix. Out of this bunch, the only two that were new were this Alolan Diglett and this Alolan Grimer. Both of these shinies I think are pretty cute, but overall they are not really anything too special. The rest of these shinies were also all duplicates that I already have, but they're all pretty nice catches. I think all of these shinies were actually pretty good, and I hope that I can turn them to some friends and help them fill out their shiny dex entries. Perfect Pokemon. We only have 2 perfects this week, but I think my catch of the week is among these two. I caught both this 4-star Trubbish and this 4-star Axew. And I really like both these Pokemon. I'm a pretty huge Unova fan, and I'm also a Trubbish sympathizer, just because I like that he's kind of a cat in a trash bag. But the Axew is definitely the cooler of the two, just because Haxorus is such a beast design. I don't think I'm going to be evolving this Axew just yet. I do like to hold on to 4-star Pokemon that are good but not the best, just in case they end up getting branched evolutions or new forms in the future. So I'd rather just save this 4-star catch for that. And even though this is the opposite of a perfect Pokemon, I wanted to include it because it is pretty cool. I got this Nundo Wooloo with 0, 0, 0 for all of its stats. It was a nice little surprise when I caught it because it was actually from a Power Spot spawn. Unfortunately, it was not Dynamax. That would have been pretty cool to have a Nundo Dynamax Pokemon, but it's still okay. This is also the second Nundo Wooloo I have. As you can see, I've got 2 here. Normally, I get a little bit annoyed when I get like duplicate novelty Pokemon, because they're kind of useless, so what's the point of having 2? But I actually collect Wooloos, so this is kind of a cute catch to give this Nundo a little friend. Other catches. We had a few notable releases this week, the first being Duraludon. As you can see, I've saved a handful here, and I've caught a plenty more, really. Both from Power Spots and from Field Research. Go check out my Dynamax Duraludon solo guide that I made earlier this week, or last week, excuse me. And my best Duraludon was actually a 98. So I'm cool with this. Sometimes it's a little bit annoying to get so close with the 98%, so getting so close to a perfect Pokemon. But I don't really mind it since Duraludon isn't too important. The part that is annoying to me is I'm actually still missing a 4-star Max Pokemon. It's been over a year since Max Battles have been introduced into Pokemon Go, and I even have a complete Living Max Dex, which is, if I can find it, let's see, it should be, there it is. Yeah, I have one of every single Max Pokemon in the game, and I still don't have a perfect one. I was really hoping that my luck would be different with Duraludon, since I was getting them both from the Max Battles and from Research, so I was kind of getting 2 for 1s, but I didn't, and that's alright. So we are still chasing the big goal of a 4-star Max Pokemon. The other big release, which was Mega Metagross, was a pretty big milestone for Pokemon Go, since this is the final non-legendary Mega release before the new batch will be introduced in Pokemon Legends ZA. I think it's a bit of a shame that Mega Metagross won't ever really have the opportunity it could have to be the best Steel-type attacker if it was released earlier in the game. But it has been, a long-awaited Mega. I know many trainers, including myself, are happy to finally be able to evolve their Hundos and their Shundos. I've had this Hundo for almost a year now. Purified it too, just for Mega Metagross. And yeah, I'll go ahead and Mega Evolve it right now to show that animation. But with the release of this Mega, it really feels like the end of an era for the old Megas, and hopefully we'll start to see the start of a new era soon if they start releasing the new PLZA megas. To me, the old and the new megas are super distinct from each other, both in design and recognition, mostly because I grew up in the old mega era. I remember when I was, I think, in middle school, maybe even elementary school, where they had that original teaser with Mega Mewtwo Y, and I remember with my friends, we'd be in the lunchroom trying to guess, what Pokemon would get new Mega Evolutions in X and Y, and then in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire after that. So I'm really glad that this new Mega era has kind of brought Pokemon trainers back to that same mindset of speculation and hype. Research. Just like last week, there is really nothing going on with my special research. I'm caught up on Tales of Transformation, and everything else is completed. However, I have been grinding out my Steel Skyline field research tasks. I'm a pretty big Steel-type fan, and Skarmory is one of my favorite Pokemon. He's somewhere in my top 10. So I've been on the prowl for the Make 3 Excellent Throws, since those give Skarmories, and the Win 3 Max Battles, which give the Dynamax Duraludons. I was a lot more organized in the beginning, when I was stacking 3 at a time and clearing them all at once. But then, as the days went on, I started, just mismanaging them a little bit. So I only have 2 right now, and I've progressed 1 battle on one and 0 on the other. But I'm going to clear that up later today. I guess it's also worth a mention, but I'm about halfway through the XP Celebration Time research. I'm already level 50, so I'm not really going to be rushing to get to level 80. So XP isn't super valuable to me, but the boost from this research has been nice and chill. The upcoming week. The Steel Skyline event is ending tomorrow on the 7th, and overall I think it was a really good non-major event. Basically all aspects of the game besides the egg pool were appropriately themed for the event, and also had desirable Pokemon. We had Drillbur and Duraludon in max battles, Skarmory and Duraludon again in research. Both Dialga forms were in raids, as well as Mega Lucario and Metagross for Mega Raids. And I think the most underrated feature was the guaranteed Rare Candy XL from Max Battles that we've had for the last 2 days after we finished the Global Challenge. I think this, the universal features and parity, I guess, how everything was themed around Steel types, really raised the bar for events, or for these smaller events, like these week-long events, that not the, Go Fest or Go Tours, but when something's lasting about a week, I think it's really nice to have all the raid bosses be the same theme, all the catches be the same theme. It's a very nice feeling. So I think the bar has been set a little bit higher than it usually has. The next event, though, is the Harvest Festival, which is going to last from the 10th to the 16th, and it will be debuting 2 new evolutions for Applin, those being Diplin and Hydrapple, as well as a new evolutionary item called the Syrupy Apples. If you're familiar with the rest of the Applin line, these debuting Pokemon will be working pretty similar, requiring 20 of their respective apples to evolve, along with 200 candy for Diplin, and another 400 plus 7 Dragon types caught for Hydrapple. These evolution requirements are a little bit heavy with the items and the candy and the tasks, but I want to aim to get my Hydrapple by the end of the Harvest Festival, which will be 6 days after it starts. This is because there are a ton of bonuses that will be making it super easy to get candy and apples while the Harvest Festival is going on. The first bonus is 2 times the usual candy for using silver Pineaps and regular Pineaps, meaning 12 candies per catch. And the second bonus is increased apple spawns from Mossy Lures. There's actually a third secret bonus, which is the double catch candy on Solosis Community Day, which is happening on Sunday the 12th. But I'm not 100% sure if these bonuses are going to stack. If they do, you can drop a bunch of Mossy Lures during Community Day, catch some Applins, and while the Com Day bonus is active, you can get 24 candies from just 1 Applin if you also use a Pineapple Berry. That means if you want to get all 600 candy to finish your Hydrapple evolution, it's only 25 Applins you need to catch during Community Day if you're starting from 0. Raids during the Harvest Festival don't seem to be themed like they were for Steel Skyline. That's okay. Mega Raids are going to have the Hoenn starters, which are all really good, but I'm pretty set on those, so I don't think I'll be grinding out any for myself. Normal and defense form Deoxys will be in 5-star raids, and I will be using my daily passes on some normal form Deoxys. It's a pretty easy solo for me, and I don't have the shiny yet, so hopefully I can pick it up this week. Let me know if you want a solo raid guide for this Pokemon. There's actually also been an update to Shadow Raids this month, which was a nice surprise. It looks like Shadow Regigigas is out and Shadow Latias is in. I actually already did one yesterday. Also, it looks like 5-star Shadow Raids will be spawning every day instead of just the weekends like they used to previously. I'll be trying to do these Shadow Latiases when I get the opportunity. Unfortunately, I can't solo it, so I will need to raid with at least one other to beat it. But there is also another secret feature about the Shadow Raids that they didn't announce. Shadow Latias can be shiny for the first time ever, so just a little bit more motivation to chase this cool Shadow Pokemon. A small update from last week. I did manage to defeat a Shadow Sableye solo, but I had to cheat a little bit. I ended up using Behemoth Blade Adventure Effect since I could not reset for the moveset I needed for the solo, and the raid timer was going to run out, so we took a step forward towards the goal of Shadow Sableye solo raid, but not quite there yet. Question of the week. How do you feel about the evolution requirements for Dipplin and Hydrapple? Are they too complicated for a non-meta relevant Pokemon, or do you think the requirements will make these two even more rare and desirable? Let me know in the comments. Thank you once again for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed my recap as well as my overview and tips for the upcoming week. If you got any feedback or topics of your own to discuss, leave a comment, I'll be sure to respond. So I'm a new channel, liking and subscribing is always super helpful too. See you all next time.